In human physiology, breathing and respiration is one of the important chapter. So in this video, we are going to revise this chapter important points for the coming NEET exam. Let us start with the air breathes through. First, it enters to nostril, followed by pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, and finally to the alveoli. This is the passage of air in our respiratory system. Next, you must remember that alveoli wall is highly vascularized, and it is made up of flat non-ciliated squamous epithelium. Remember, non-ciliated squamous epithelium. Alveoli wall is made up of non-ciliated epithelium. Now, respiratory organs in fish, gills, reptiles, birds, and mammals have lungs. Amphibians, especially frog, in the NCERT textbook they have mentioned it has moist skin. Remember, in frog, which is an amphibian, the respiratory organ is moist skin. Then you remember the lungs are covered by a double layer called pleura, and in between the two layers there is a pleural cavity that protects the lungs. Now, larynx is also called as sound box, commonly called as sound box, which is made up of cartilage. Larynx is made up of cartilage. And lungs are located in the thoracic chamber, which is airtight thoracic chamber. And the fifth thoracic vertebrae, trachea divides and enters into the lungs. At the fifth thoracic vertebrae, the trachea is going to divide. Then epiglottis is made up of elastic cartilage, and this epiglottis attached to the entrance of larynx. Epiglottis is present at the larynx. It is attached to the larynx, entrance of larynx. And what is the role of epiglottis? It prevents the entry of food into the larynx. Epiglottis prevents the entry of food into the larynx. Means food directly enters into esophagus, not into the larynx. That is with the help of epiglottis. And most affected organ in our body due to the shortage of oxygen. When there is a shortage of oxygen in our body, the most affected organ is our brain. Then alveoli of the lungs exchange gases by means of simple diffusion. Remember, by simple diffusion, gases are going to exchange in the alveoli of the lungs. Simple diffusion, remember. Now, lungs are protected from either side of the body dorsally by vertebral column. At the back side, dorsally, the lungs are protected by vertebral column. Ventrally, from the frontal part, the lungs are protected by sternum bone. Laterally protected by rib or rib cage, and lower side by protected by diaphragm. So diaphragm, ribs, sternum, and vertebral columns are protecting the lungs. Now remember, inspiration can occur. Entry of air into the lungs. Inspiration occurs if the pressure within the lungs is less. If the pressure within the lungs is less than the atmospheric pressure or negative pressure. In the lungs, it should be negative pressure. If inspiration has to happen, the pressure in the lungs should be less than the atmospheric pressure. Then only inspiration is going to happen. Then diaphragm and intercostal muscle. Muscles means the muscles present between the ribs. So both these muscles, diaphragm as well as intercostal muscle, they undergo either contraction or relaxation during inspiration or expiration. So ultimately what? Diaphragm and intercostal muscles are going to contract and relax, that is responsible for inspiration and expiration. And remember, the breathing rate is 12 to 16 times per minute. Breathing rate is 12 to 16 times per minute, and it is estimated by an instrument called spirometer. Spirometer is the one through which we can estimate the breathing rate. Now let us see the respiratory volumes. The first respiratory volume is tidal volume, which is about 500 ml. Tidal volume is the amount of air taken in and given out during normal breathing. That is called tidal volume. It is 500 ml. IRV is inspiratory reserve volume. IRV is inspiratory reserve volume. It is a maximum amount of air that can be taken into the lungs after deepest inhalation. It is around 2500 to 3000 ml. And ERV means expiratory reserve volume, and it is the maximum amount of air that can be flushed out into the atmosphere after deepest exhalation. It is around 1000 to 1100 ml or 1200 ml. Now IC means inspiratory capacity. Inspiratory capacity, how to calculate? By adding tidal volume and inspiratory reserve volume, which is around 3000 to 3500 ml. EC means expiratory capacity. IC means inspiratory capacity and EC means expiratory capacity. How to calculate expiratory capacity? Adding tidal volume and expiratory reserve volume, that is around 1500 to 1600 ml. And RV in the sense reserve volume. RV means reserve volume, means the amount of air remains in the lungs even after deepest exhalation, which is around 1100 to 1200 ml. And FRV means functional residual capacity. Functional residual capacity, which is the sum of ERV and RV, that is around 2100 to 2300 ml. And vital capacity means it is the addition of IRV plus ERV plus tidal volume, or you can say TLC minus RV. TLC minus RV. TLC means total lungs capacity. So vital capacity can be defined as amount of air that can be flushed out forcefully from the lungs after deepest inhalation. Okay, that is around 4700 ml. And total lungs capacity is vital capacity plus RV, residual value. Now remember, alveoli is the primary site of exchange of gases. In the lungs, alveoli is the primary site for the exchange of gases. Now just now we have learned about residual volume. It is a volume of air remains after most forceful expiration. Due to this residual volume only, lungs do not collapse even after most forceful expiration. Even after most forceful expiration, lungs do not collapse because of residual volume. Remember. And lungs do not collapse between the breaths. Lungs are not going to collapse because of negative intrapleural pressure. Negative intrapleural pressure. Because of this, lungs do not collapse between the breath. And partial pressure of oxygen in the alveoli of the lungs is more than that in the blood. Children, remember, the partial pressure of oxygen in the alveoli of the lungs is more than that in the blood. That is responsible for the exchange. Now remember, diffusion membranes in the lungs. Diffusion membranes for the exchange of gases are squamous epithelium in alveoli, endothelium of alveolar capillaries, and between these two there is a basement membrane. These three membranes are going to involve in diffusion of gases. Now oxygen transport 97% by RBC erythrocytes and 3% by plasma, whereas in carbon dioxide transport 70% as bicarbonate, 23% as carbaminohemoglobin with the help of RBC, and 7% as in the dissolved form in the blood plasma. Carbon dioxide is going to be transported. Now when hemoglobin combines with oxygen, it forms oxyhemoglobin. When hemoglobin combines with poisonous carbon monoxide, carboxyhemoglobin. When carbon dioxide combines to the amino group of hemoglobin, it forms carbaminohemoglobin. When hemoglobin combines with ozone, it forms methemoglobin. And remember children, every 100 ml of oxygenated blood delivers around 5 ml of oxygen to tissue. 5 ml of oxygen to the tissue. Similarly, every 100 ml of deoxygenated blood delivers around 4 ml of carbon dioxide to alveoli. 4 ml of carbon dioxide to alveoli. Remember, 100 ml of oxygenated blood delivers 5 ml of oxygen to tissue, and 100 ml of deoxygenated blood delivers 4 ml of carbon dioxide to alveoli. And respiratory rhythm center present in medulla oblongata of the brain, and pneumotoxic centers are present in pons, and chemosensitive areas are very, very sensitive to carbon dioxide and proton. Asthma is the inflammation of bronchi and bronchiole. Inflammation of bronchi and bronchioles considered as asthma. Whereas due to cigarette smoking, emphysema is the alveolar walls get damage. And reduction in pH of the blood will decrease the affinity of hemoglobin with oxygen. Reduction in the pH of the blood will decrease the affinity of hemoglobin with oxygen. That is one of the dangerous situation. When the person move up a hill, there we can find partial pressure of oxygen and atmospheric pressure decreases. When any person goes to a high altitude, partial pressure of oxygen is going to decrease. When the partial pressure of oxygen decreases, in kidney, juxtaglomerular cells are going to activated. When juxtaglomerular cells activated under low partial pressure of oxygen, it is going to secrete one hormone called erythropoietin. This erythropoietin responsible for the increased production of red blood cells for the supply of oxygen in the body. And remember, in infants, in the fetus, hemoglobin has higher affinity for oxygen than in the adults. In fetus, hemoglobin has higher affinity for oxygen than in the adults. Oxygen dissociation curve of hemoglobin appears in sigmoid form. It will appear in the sigmoid form.